Assalamu alaikum. A warm welcome to everyone who has joined us today. This is Afnan Zeb Oditi. I am a lawyer by profession, currently working in the IRS, and a proud volunteer of CLP, a role I am passionate about. On behalf of the CLP family, it is my honor and privilege to thank you all for joining the 2024 virtual convention. I would like to extend special thanks to those who joined us at the in person convention on August 18, 2024. It is amazing that in the year of our 20th anniversary, we got the opportunity to connect with you twice. We will begin today's program with the national anthem of the United States of America, followed by the national anthem of Bangladesh. With your kind support, CLP has achieved so much over the past years and continues to set even bigger and better goals to assist those in need. This is why our theme for today is Expand the Horizon. We have a full agenda ahead, as you see on the screen, which includes welcome from Tajul Imam, video of CLP evolution, empowering girls in Kurigram since 2006, CLC in a remote village, a diaspora Giving Back to the Roots, SCR, a multi-purpose learning tool, Smart Classroom for kindergarten, inviting youths to teach CLP at Global Classroom, teaching essentials office skills, an exciting tour of the village lifestyle with the CLP team, Dr. Shakil's presentation, Make a Lasting Impact with CLP, Abdul Hai's closing remarks, and finally, Lalun Giti from Lalun Shah's Mazar. Now, I would like to introduce a dear friend of CLP and a renowned entertainer, Mr. Tajul Imam, who will share a message with you.
সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়ে শুরু করছি। আমাদের সংগঠনের নাম CLP USA, অর্থাৎ কম্পিউটার লিটারেসি প্রোগ্রাম USA। গত 2 দশক ধরে এই সংগঠন বাংলাদেশের সুবিধাবঞ্চিত ছাত্রছাত্রীদের কম্পিউটার শিক্ষার সহায়তা করে আসছে। আধুনিক বিশ্বে চাকুরি, ব্যবসা অথবা যে কোনো ক্ষেত্রে কম্পিউটার জ্ঞান অপরিহার্য। কিন্তু উন্নয়নশীল দেশগুলিতে একটি আধুনিক কম্পিউটার কিন্তু সহজলভ্য নয়, অনেকেরই নাগালের বাইরে। কিন্তু এটা শিখতে পারাটা জরুরি, আর সেখানেই এগিয়ে এসেছে CLP USA। আমাদের ট্রেনিং সেন্টারগুলি বাংলাদেশের বিভিন্ন গ্রামে ও শহরে বিভিন্ন শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠানের সাথে সম্পৃক্ত। সেখান থেকে ছাত্রছাত্রীরা এই শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থার সুযোগ নিতে পারছেন। প্রোগ্রামিং, নেটওয়ার্ক থেকে শুরু করে ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য, অফিস আদালতে কম্পিউটারের বাস্তব প্রয়োগ এখানে শিক্ষা দেয়া হয়। CLP-কে প্রতিষ্ঠিত করতে এবং গত 2 দশক ধরে একে সচল রাখতে সচেষ্ট রয়েছেন বেশ কিছু প্রবাসী অভিবাসী বাংলাদেশী। এরা নিজ নিজ ক্ষেত্রে প্রতিষ্ঠিত মানুষ, কিন্তু দেশের উন্নয়নে সক্রিয়ভাবে সহায়তা করতে চান। যারা আমার এই কথন শুনছেন তাদের প্রতি অনুরোধ রাখছি, আপনারাও যুক্ত হন এই মহতী উদ্যোগে। আমাদের ওয়েবসাইট www.clpweb.org-এ গেলেই দেখতে পাবেন আমাদের যাবতীয় কর্মকাণ্ড, কাজের পদ্ধতি এবং ভবিষ্যৎ কর্মপন্থা। আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকুন। আপনার অনুদান বাংলাদেশের কিছু সুবিধাবঞ্চিত তরুণ তরুণীকে স্বনির্ভর এবং আত্মবিশ্বাসী করে তুলবে। স্বপ্ন পূরণ হবে তাদের, আপনারও। দেশকে ভালোবাসা তো আসলে দেশের মানুষকেই ভালোবাসা, নয় কি?
Thank you, Tajul Bhai, for inspiring us. Now, let me introduce you to our MCs of this event, Nusrat Ahmed and Marjan Zaman. Marjan Zaman, a cherished member of the New Jersey community, has been an integral part of CLP program since 2005. He is currently pursuing his PhD in cancer immunotherapy at Weill Cornell. Nusrat Ahmed joined CLP in 2022. She graduated from both Princeton and Columbia and is currently the head of education at Mustafa, an Islamic fintech company. By the way, Marjan and Nusrat are husband and wife. Before I leave the event to our MCs, I just want to give you a friendly reminder to visit our website at clpweb.org and make a generous donation. An empowered youth is the future of a nation, and empowering the youth in Bangladesh through technology-aided education is our mission. Hope you will help us to meet our goal and make this fundraiser a big success. Remember, no one becomes poorer by donating for a good cause. Now, Nusrat and Marjan will navigate you through the program. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Marjan, and I'm thrilled to be here alongside my wife and partner in all things, your co host, Nusrat Ahmed, to this amazing event.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yes, we are so excited to be here with all of you today, celebrating 20 years of CLP's amazing work. Marjan, can you believe how far CLP has come these last 20 years? You were
You
heavily
know,
involved with CLP since it started, right?
from the moment I first learned about CLP in high school, I was captivated. What really stood out to me was how it embraced young people like myself, making us feel a part of something bigger.
Mm.
Tonight, we'll witness the incredible ways CLP continues to uplift and empower the next generation. But at its core, CLP is about its students, their stories, their journeys, and the lives that have been forever changed by this program. The most rewarding part for me has been seeing firsthand how this initiative transforms lives. And the best part, CLP isn't slowing down. It's expanding its reach, touching more lives, and building brighter futures every single year.
Wow, I couldn't agree more. I mean, 306 centers, 201 smart classrooms, and over 40,000 students impacted every year. And here's the best part, nearly half of them are girls. This is real, tangible change happening right before our eyes, and we had the chance to be a part of it tonight.
Absolutely incredible. We're here tonight not just to celebrate these impressive numbers, but to remind everyone that real change is within our reach. Your support, no matter the size, whether it's $5 or $5,000, goes straight to transforming lives. Every contribution makes a tangible difference. So let's kick off the night by seeing firsthand the impact of CLP and that it had on Bangladesh through its groundbreaking educational initiatives.
What a journey. 20 years of impact. But here's the thing, CLP is just getting started. We have a host of projects and expansions planned, and we need you to help achieve these goals. Our target tonight is 200,000, and we've raised so far 127,000. That means we've got about 73,000 left to go. Marjan, what do you think? Can we do it?
Absolutely, we can do it, Nusrat. CLP is fortunate to have supporters, passionate supporters, and with everyone's help tonight, we won't just hit our goal, we'll exceed it. This was just a trip down memory lane to see all of the different expansions they've done over the years. Tonight's not just about celebrating those milestones, but it's about inviting everyone to be a part of real change. If you've ever wondered, how can I make a difference? Well, this is it. The impact of CLP is real, and no contribution is too small. We're excited to see what we can achieve together. Nusrat, you know what's truly remarkable about CLP though? It's our dedication to empowering young girls and women across Bangladesh, especially in remote areas. It's not just about education, it's about giving these girls a chance to dream of a life with different opportunities and possibilities. That's really the heart of CLP.
Absolutely. Let's take our viewers to Kurigram Girls School, where a computer literacy center was established back in 2006.
বাংলাদেশের উত্তরাঞ্চলের এক সীমান্তবর্তী জেলা কুড়িগ্রাম। প্রাকৃতিক সৌন্দর্যে ভরা এই জেলাটির ভিতর দিয়ে বয়ে চলেছে তিস্তা, ধরলা, ব্রহ্মপুত্র, দুধকুমার প্রভৃতি নদী। এখানকার মানুষের পেশা মূলত কৃষিকাজ, মাছ ধরা, ক্ষুদ্র ব্যবসা আর পরিবহন। বাংলার ঐতিহ্যবাহী নিদর্শন ঘোড়ার গাড়ি এখনো এই জেলার পথঘাটে দেখা মেলে। প্রাচীন এই জনপদটির শিক্ষায় অগ্রণী ভূমিকা পালন করে আসছে কুড়িগ্রাম বালিকা উচ্চ বিদ্যালয়। বর্তমানে প্রায় ১৬০০ শিক্ষার্থী বিদ্যালয়টিতে অধ্যয়নরত। শিক্ষার্থীদের কম্পিউটার শিক্ষায় দক্ষ করে গড়ে তোলার জন্য ২০০৬ সালে এই স্কুলে একটি কম্পিউটার ল্যাব প্রতিষ্ঠা করা হয়। যুক্তরাষ্ট্র প্রবাসী জনাব KVM জামান এই ল্যাবের প্রতিষ্ঠা করেন। প্রতিষ্ঠাকাল থেকে ২০২৪ সাল পর্যন্ত স্কুলটির প্রায় ১১০০ শিক্ষার্থী কম্পিউটার কোর্স সম্পন্ন করেছে।
আমার জন্ম কুড়িগ্রাম জেলাতেই। আমি ২০১৩ সালে কুড়িগ্রাম গার্লস হাই স্কুল থেকে SSC কমপ্লিট করেছি। আর আমার স্কুলে থাকা অবস্থাতেই CLP প্রোগ্রামটার সাথে আমার যুক্ত হওয়া, এবং তারপরে আমি HSC আমার কুড়িগ্রাম মহিলা কলেজ থেকে কমপ্লিট করা। তারপর আমি ড্যাফোডিল ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে সফটওয়্যার ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ডিপার্টমেন্টে গ্রাজুয়েশন কমপ্লিট করেছি। এখন আমি একটা আন্তর্জাতিক প্রতিষ্ঠানে সফটওয়্যার ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হিসেবে আছি। ওই সময় তো কম্পিউটার সবার বাসায় অ্যাভেলেবেল ছিল না। তো স্কুলে যখন এরকম একটা প্রোগ্রাম হচ্ছিল, যখন জানতে পারলাম আমাদের শিক্ষকদের মাধ্যমে, তখন সেখানে CLPর সাথে যুক্ত হওয়া, সেখানে কম্পিউটার শেখা, আমার কম্পিউটারের হাতেখড়ি সেখান থেকেই, এবং টেকনোলজি সম্পর্কে যে নলেজগুলো, যে ভালো লাগাগুলো, সেগুলো আমার শুরু হয়েছে ওই ল্যাবটা থেকে। আমাদের সাথে যারা শিখতেন তাদের বেশিরভাগের বাসায় কম্পিউটার ছিল না, কিংবা কম্পিউটার সম্পর্কে কোনো নলেজই ছিল না। তাদের জন্য এটা পুরোপুরি ভাবে একটা অন্যরকম অভিজ্ঞতা ছিল, যে কম্পিউটার অন অফ করাটাই তাদের কাছে অনেক চ্যালেঞ্জিং মনে হতো মাঝে মাঝে। তারপরে মাইক্রোসফট ওয়ার্ড, পাওয়ার পয়েন্ট, এগুলোতে বিভিন্ন এক্সেলে কিভাবে কাজ করতে হয় সেগুলো শেখা তাদের মধ্যে প্রচুর আগ্রহ, এবং কম্পিউটার নিয়েও যে ক্যারিয়ারে কিছু করা যায় কিংবা এটাও একটা স্কোপ হতে পারে, সেটা তখনই আমি সহ বাকি আমাদের সাথে যারা তখন শিখতেন, তখন তারা সেটা বুঝতে পারেন, এবং শেখার আগ্রহটা তখন সেখান থেকে জেগে ওঠে। টেকনোলজির ফার্স্ট নলেজটাই তো আমি CLPর ল্যাব থেকে পেয়েছি, যে কম্পিউটারে যে আমার একটা আগ্রহ আছে, যে আমার এই জিনিসটা নিয়ে আমার কাজ করতে ইচ্ছা করছে, ভালো লাগছে, ভালো লাগাগুলো আমার ওখান থেকে আমি রিয়েলাইজ করতে পেরেছি। যদি তখন না থাকতো হয়তো বা আমি বুঝতে পারতাম না গতানুগতিক যে ক্যারিয়ার গুলো আমরা চুজ করে থাকি সেগুলোর প্রতি আমার ইন্টারেস্টটা বেশি কাজ করতো। সেখানে অনেক সময় দেখা যেত টাইপিং, কে কত ফাস্ট টাইপ করতে পারছি, সেটা আমরা একটা কম্পিটিশন করতাম নিজেদের মধ্যে, কার ড্রয়িং কত ভালো হচ্ছে। তো সেগুলো আমার পরবর্তী ক্ষেত্রে অনেক বেশি হেল্প করেছে। আর ওই সময়টা থেকে মানে আমি হয়তো বা একটা জিনিস শিখছি, ওয়ার্ড শিখছি, কিভাবে সেখান থেকে আরো ইমপ্রুভ করা যায়। দেন পাওয়ার পয়েন্টে আমি কোনো একটা স্লাইড বানাচ্ছি, স্লাইডটাকে কিভাবে উপরে যে অপশনগুলো থাকতো অ্যানিমেশন কিভাবে অ্যাড করা যায়, এই জিনিসগুলো আস্তে আস্তে শিখে শিখে আমার ভালো লাগাগুলো আরো বেশি তৈরি হয়েছে, যেটা আমার পরবর্তীতে ক্যারিয়ার পাথের ক্ষেত্রে আমার অনেকটাই হেল্প করেছে। আর সিএলপি এরকম একটা মহৎ উদ্যোগ যেন এটা কন্টিনিউ হয়, আরো অ্যাডভান্স টেকনোলজির সাথে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করে, প্লাস হচ্ছে মফস্বল এলাকাগুলোতে তারা যেন টেকনোলজি সম্পর্কে জানতে পারে, এটাই আশাবাদী। এবং সিএলপি কে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ এরকম একটা মহৎ কাজ করার জন্য।
বাংলাদেশ সরকারের অনুদানে বিদ্যালয়ের কম্পিউটার ল্যাবটি বর্ধিত হয়েছে। সিএলপির কম্পিউটার সাক্ষরতা কার্যক্রমটি বর্তমানে এই ল্যাবে পরিচালিত হচ্ছে। প্রতি বছর এই ল্যাব থেকে প্রায় 200 জন মেয়ে শিক্ষার্থীরা কোর্স সম্পন্ন করছে। শিক্ষায় তথ্য প্রযুক্তির ব্যবহারে সহায়তা করার জন্য কেবিএম জামান 2011 সালে এখানে একটি স্মার্ট ক্লাসরুম প্রতিষ্ঠা করেন। তারপর থেকে এই স্মার্ট ক্লাসরুমে শিক্ষকবৃন্দ অডিও ভিজুয়াল কন্টেন্ট ব্যবহার করে শ্রেণী কার্যক্রম পরিচালনা করে আসছে। এই বিদ্যালয়ের শিক্ষার্থীরা উত্তরের জনপদের মাটি ও মানুষের সাংস্কৃতিক ঐতিহ্য বহন করে চলছে। বিদ্যালয়ের শিক্ষার্থীরা বিভিন্ন সাংস্কৃতিক কার্যক্রমে জড়িত। টিফিনের ফাঁকে তারা গান, নাচ ইত্যাদি করে থাকে। ভাওয়াইয়া গানে এই বিদ্যালয়ের শিক্ষার্থীদের পারদর্শিতা আছে। এবার আমরা একটি ভাওয়াইয়া গান শুনব।
তোমার গাড়ির হ্যাংরাত বাজি ছিড়িয়া গেল মোর বিয়ার শাড়ি নায়ক, আর না জান গাড়িয়াল তোমার গাড়ি চুরি তুমি নায়ক, আর না জান গাড়িয়াল তোমার গাড়ি চুরি।
Wow. I got lost in her voice. Seeing stories like that always gives me the chills. It makes me so emotional. You know, one center, one sponsor, and you have girls who are now engineers and leaders. Just access to digital tools has just completely transformed the way these girls approach their education. And CLP's impact is far more than what we see on the surface. It's the internal growth too, the inspiration, the confidence, the realization that they too can contribute to the world. I often think of this quote that it's talent isn't, there's no lack of talent, it's just opportunity. And CLP gives all these girls this opportunity. And sometimes we can't even measure how much these students are changing on the inside just by gaining access to the world beyond their village.
I couldn't agree more, Nusrat. You just said it so beautifully. I was so emotional just seeing the students just explaining how it was so foreign to them, and then now they just felt comfortable doing PowerPoint, setting up presentations, doing all these things with the computer. And it just shows how the ripple effect of CLP is so profound. Just this year in 2024, we opened a new lab in one of the most remote regions thanks to a generous support of Pubali Bank. And another donor just like you and me, but using the companies to help us, it really changes what is really possible for all these students. And it's not just about providing access to technology, but breaking these cycles of limitation that you mentioned, offering these young minds a chance to really rewrite their own future. So let's hear from Pubali Bank and how they helped out with CLP.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Pubali Bank Limited is serving the nation for 65 years, since 1949, for the economic development and socio-economic development of the country. Being a first Bengali bank, we are serving the nations with our largest branch networks. We have 505 branch networks, along with 210 sub-branches and 17 Islamic windows, along with a few Islamic branches. So we are working at the grassroots level and every corner of Bangladesh. Beyond the banking service, we are having our commitment in socio-economic development as well as corporate social responsibility. We have our obligations, we feel our obligations, we discharge our obligation to the societies so that those are the underprivileged peoples and the underdeveloped areas, we can reach to them with our corporate social responsibility for their economic development, for their social development and their personality development. And for that, our major concentrations in educations, technological educations as well as health sectors. In this perspective, we found computer literacy program CLP USA, who are promoting computer literacy in the remote area, especially far-reaching areas at the grassroots level. We started with Borishal, Chatpur, Kishoreganj. Very far-reaching area at the grassroots level, Govindo Sri High School, Netrokona Model.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি ফাতেমা জাহান নুহা, গোবিন্দশ্রী উচ্চ বিদ্যালয়ের নবম শ্রেণীর শিক্ষার্থী। আমার বাড়ি নেত্রকোনা জেলার মদন উপজেলায়। আজকে আমি আপনাদেরকে আমাদের এই বিদ্যালয় ঘুরিয়ে দেখাবো। তার আগে চলুন আমি আপনাদেরকে আমার জেলার সাথে পরিচয় করিয়ে দিই। নেত্রকোনা জেলাটি বাংলাদেশের ময়মনসিংহ বিভাগে অবস্থিত। হাওর পাহাড়ে ঘেরা এই জেলার উত্তরে রয়েছে ভারতের মেঘালয়, দক্ষিণে কিশোরগঞ্জ জেলা, পূর্বে সুনামগঞ্জ জেলা ও পশ্চিমে ময়মনসিংহ জেলা। চীনামাটির পাহাড়, পাহাড়ি ঝর্ণা, টিলা, হাওর ও নদী ঘেরা আমাদের এই জেলাটি প্রাকৃতিক সৌন্দর্যে ভরপুর।
নেত্রকোনার একটি উপজেলা হচ্ছে মদন। হাওর বেষ্টিত এই উপজেলায় রয়েছে নানান মানুষের বাস। তাদের প্রধান জীবিকা হচ্ছে মাছ ধরা ও কৃষিকাজ। বর্ষার সময় আমাদের এই অঞ্চলগুলো পানির তলে তলিয়ে যায়, তাতে যাতায়াতে অনেক কষ্ট হয়। আমরা ফেরিতে করে, সাঁকুতে করে এভাবে আমরা যাতায়াত করি। অনেক সময় নৌকা ডুবি হয়, তার ফলে আমাদের বই খাতা ভিজে যায় পুরো। আমরাও মাঝে মাঝে অনেক মানুষের মৃত্যুও ঘটে।
আমি মাঠে কৃষি কাজ করি, জমিনে ফসল ফলাই, বর্ষাকালে পানিতে মাছ ধরি। সংসার চালাইতে কষ্ট হয়। জমিতে যে ফসল ফলাই এই ফসলে তো শুষ্কায় না। 6 মাস যদি এই ফসলে চলে, 6 মাস আমরা হাওয়ার এলাকা মাছ ধরি।
আমাদের বিদ্যালয়ের নাম গোবিন্দশ্রী উচ্চ বিদ্যালয়। নেত্রকোনা জেলায় মদন উপজেলায় আমাদের স্কুলটি প্রতিষ্ঠিত হয় 1971 সালে। এখানে রয়েছে 8টি শ্রেণীকক্ষ। এখানে প্রায় 450 জন শিক্ষার্থী পড়াশোনা করে। এখানে আমাদের রয়েছে 12 জন শিক্ষক। এখানে আমাদের জন্য সিএলপি ও পুবালি ব্যাংক যৌথভাবে একটা কম্পিউটার লিটারেসি কেন্দ্র প্রতিষ্ঠা করেছে। এখানে আমরা কম্পিউটারের মাধ্যমে অনেক দক্ষতা অর্জন করি।
Students of that remote areas, they got their access to computer literacy and that has empowered them, and we found them that the program is very competent, very good, and for their development, especially for the kids.
সিএলসি প্রোগ্রাম 2024 সালের 29 এপ্রিল শুরু হয়। এটা পূবালী ব্যাংক এবং সিএলপি এর সমন্বয়ে পরিচালিত হচ্ছে। স্টুডেন্টরা শিখতে খুবই আগ্রহী।
আমি বড় হয়ে ম্যাজিস্ট্রেট হতে চাই, এটা আমার স্বপ্ন। কম্পিউটার অনেক কাজে আসবে, যেমন অনলাইনে কোনো কিছু পাঠাতে হলে কম্পিউটার দিয়ে পাঠাতে পারবো, আর যে কোনো কিছু জানতে হলে ইন্টারনেটের সাহায্য পেতে পারি। ইউটিউব লাইভ যে কোনো কিছু থেকে চার্জ দিলেই আমরা এর সাহায্য পেতে পারি। তো এই জন্যই কম্পিউটারটা শেখা আমাদের জন্য অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ।
আমি একজন গরিব মানুষ, বুঝছো, আমি ছেলে মেয়েরা খুব কষ্ট হইতেছে, আমি তো পড়ালেখা করাইতেছি। তো আমার এরকম ধরনের ক্ষমতা নাই আমি যে একটা ল্যাপটপ কিনে আমি তারা ল্যাপটপের এই যে শিখাইয়া এই শিল্পীটাকে আমি কম্পিউটারটা আমার মেয়েরে শিখাইতে পারতেছি। এই জন্যই শিল্পী পূবালী ব্যাংকের আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাই।
হ্যাঁ, আমাদের ছেলে মেয়ে স্কুলে কম্পিউটার শিখতেছে। হ্যাঁ, তো এটা আমাদের আনন্দের বিষয় না? আমরা তো সাধারণ মানুষ, এটা তো আমরা পারলাম না।
I especially thank to CLP USA for partnering with us, and we love to extend our support with them and work with them for a long period of time. So thank you, CLP USA, partnering with us.
বাংলাতে গাই গান তোমাদের দায়, সে বাংলা যে যেন হয়েছে বিরাজ, সেই করোনা যেন প্রভুর তরে জীবন দিল যারা দেশের তরে। হাজার সালাম আজি তাদের তরে, জীবন দিল যারা দেশের তরে, জীবন দিল যারা ভাষার তরে। ধন্যবাদ।
Wow. I'm wiping away my tears. This is just so beautiful. It's something we've always wanted to see. Um, Pubali Bank is backing these centers, and we're seeing how it's just uplifting entire communities. The students who are learning, the parents who are enjoying their children's exposure to all of this technology, and the teachers who don't have the money to buy laptops, and they're so grateful to CLP to bring in this technology and to really just change the lives of all of these students. And it's just inspiring that all of this came from this corporate social responsibility initiative, CSR. And this is something that's prominent in Bangladesh and in the United States. So if any of you watching can leverage your own companies in a similar way, please reach out to us. You know that every single dollar is well spent here.
And now let's turn to a hometown hero, Mr. Idris Sultan from Dallas, USA. He's been making a huge impact in Chittagong, showing us that when the diaspora gives back, the roots grow stronger. Let's hear his inspiring story.
From the very beginning, as I remember, I know Farooq Bhai's brother Saqib is my brother in Dallas. Through him, I got introduced with Farooq Bhai. And when I heard about this program, CLP program, I got interested. We always talk about to do something in back home, a lot of different charity programs, a lot of different things, especially for our poor relatives, our village peoples, and our local peoples who needs help, who are really cannot afford it, underprivileged, and they live in a remote area where they cannot reach any technological revolution or any other recent development in their life. Anyway, I can make that long story short. So we started that way. I started that way. And then I see slowly I started with one school in my village. The village I grew up, I actually born in Chittagong, not in rural area, but in urban area. But I always, and my family always have keep touch with the rural area, especially with our village people. And I kept that tradition. Always when I like to visit once or twice a year to visit my village. So that way I got involved to introduce in our village schools and neighboring village schools. And that way I started all this back in 15 to 20 years ago. Now we are about to be 6 school total through me have the CLP program implemented. And through the years, it did started and developed eventually happened. And when I come every year, I visit school, I see the progress and the status and their efforts to teach and grow the students in their way, how they can be interested in modern technology that they have access. When I see them, I feel myself very, very fortunate and very helpful that they are getting this help. And when I see that, I really enjoy it every moment when I visit that school. So what I'm saying from my involvement from last 15, 20 years, through all these years, a lot of students got educated and came out of schools. And I hear every other years that quite a few students getting benefit out of it. And I hear, especially today, I heard 2 or 3 stories, successful story, which I'm very excited to hear that. And that's why I look for all the time.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম আমার নাম হচ্ছে রায়হান উদ্দিন আমি কালারফুল হাজি ওমরা মিয়া কালারফুল উচ্চ বিদ্যালয় থেকে 2015 আর 2016 ওইখানে যখন কম্পিউটার বেস শুরু হয় প্রথম থেকে আমরা বেসিক গুলো জানা আমার স্যার আব্দুল শুকুর স্যার ওনার মাধ্যমেই তো আমি প্রথমত কম্পিউটার জানতাম না মানে কম্পিউটার কি জিনিস সেটা বুঝতাম না যখন আমাদের স্কুলের মধ্যে এই ল্যাপটপ দেওয়া হয় তখন ছিল চারটা ল্যাপটপ তো আমাদের স্যারে যে আমাদের একটা লিস্ট করছে যে কারা কারা কম্পিউটার শিখবে তো এখানে আমার নাম দেওয়া হয় ওই স্কুল থেকে বেসিক শিখে মূল মন্ত্র ছিল যে আমি একটা ব্যবসা দাঁড়া করাবো আজকে ইনশাআল্লাহ আমার একটা স্টুডিও আছে আমার টিমমেট আছে এই ব্যবসা প্রতিষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে আমি নিজে স্বাবলম্বী হই নাই আমার পাশাপাশি আমার 3-4 জন আমার টিমমেট আছে এরা ইনশাআল্লাহ এখন স্বাবলম্বী তারপর আমি এটাকে আস্তে আস্তে আমার অগ্রগতির আমার কাজের ধরন চেঞ্জ করার জন্য এবং এটার আরো ডেভেলপ করার জন্য আমি একটা এক্সট্রা স্কুল শেষে এসএসসি পরীক্ষার পরে আমি একটা কোর্স নিয়েছিলাম ওইখান থেকে বাদ বাকিগুলো শিখা তাছাড়া হচ্ছে আপনার ইউটিউবে কিছু আমি ভিডিও দেখছিলাম ইউটিউবের ভিডিও ওই যেগুলো হচ্ছে টিউটোরিয়াল ওইগুলো দেখে আমার কাজের অগ্রগতিটা আরো বাড়ানো সবকিছুর জন্য সিএলপি ও ইদ্রিস সুলতান স্যারকে ধন্যবাদ ওনাদেরকে আমি কৃতজ্ঞতা ওনাদের প্রতি আমি কৃতজ্ঞতা ওনারা ল্যাপটপ দিছে বলেই আমি স্কুলে যা শিখছি আজকে আমার এই যে প্রতিষ্ঠান এই যে স্টুডিও এটা আমি ইনশাআল্লাহ দাঁড়ায় করাতে পারছি ওই বেসিকের মাধ্যমে কারণ আমার মতে আমি ল্যাপটপ তো কিনতে পারতাম না আমার ল্যাপটপ কেনার ওই সামর্থ্য ছিল না
I know being living overseas, our children are very fortunate and they have all the access, all the modern educational tools they have, which our country, especially rural areas and underprivileged students don't get this access. And when I see they are getting somewhere, at least, and that's the achievement that I like, and that's the thing I really enjoy myself. And now these few days or few years we are thinking because our children have grown up, they are almost going to on their way of life, and they had all the opportunity what we provide them. Now we are thinking if any way we can help in our country, in our village, in our relatives, that will be our other achievements in life. And we know we don't have too much time in our life. The moment we have, the moment we get, we try to help them. And I am really glad that I met Farooq Bhai and through the CLP program. And I also made committed that whatever help needs, I will provide as much as I can, as long as I can. And I'm looking forward to see in future have more extended this program, and it's come to the standard level that they can fight with in their life to adjust with this modern advancement in technology, in social sectors, in all other sectors. They can compete with privileged and very fortunate kids in urban areas. And that's all I always feel. They should not be left behind. That's our ultimate goal. We like to see them compete parallelly with any other kids in the world. The way they are growing, they have that same lights and education in their future. Hopefully, I committed myself to continue this cooperation, this contribution, as long as I can. I would like to introduce the cultural activities practicing the school I went to, and I'm really proud of them. And they're going to sing a song in a local language, which is famous in Bangladesh, called Chatgaya. Chatgaya Gan. Chatgaya, this is Chittagonian song, which is related to our river, our mountain, our hills, and our river and oceans. So I hope you all enjoy that, and I would love to introduce them to you. Thank you. Hopefully you all enjoy this song.
ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ পাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা মধু হই হই আর বিষ হাবাইলা মধু হই হই আর বিষ হাবাইলা হন হারনে ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ পাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা আশায় আসি দুয়ারে লই বন্ধ মেখান সুখের ঘর আশায় আসি দুয়ারে লই বন্ধ মেখান সুখের ঘর সুখের বদল আর দুঃখ দিলা সুখের বদল আর দুঃখ দিলা হন হারনে ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ পাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা প্রেম নদীতে ওই নোরটা লন আর কেনে ফেলাই গেলা প্রেম নদীতে ওই নোরটা লন আর কেনে ফেলাই গেলা তুই এন গরিকে ভুল বুঝিলা এন গরিকে ভুল বুঝলা হন হারনে দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ ফাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা মধু হই হই আর বিষ হাবাইলা মধু হই হই আর বিষ হাবাইলা হন হারুনে ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ ফাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা ও তুই হন দোষণ ফাই ভালোবাসার দাম নদিলা
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Amazing.
I think we just need to take a moment and sit in the after effects of that music. Wow, beautiful. Seeing Mr. Idris Sultan return to Bangladesh multiple times to check on his school's progress, it's such a beautiful example of staying actively involved in the causes that we care about. And we saw that it's not just about the tangible things like the buildings or the labs, but it's about something so much deeper. Having access to this digital literacy, especially in today's world, we saw that it opens doors to knowledge, awareness, opportunity. And it's incredible to think that with just a computer and internet access, these young people in these remote areas suddenly have the world at their fingertips. And they're not learning just math or coding, but what's happening globally. And with that awareness comes a power to take action and to dream bigger and to make a difference in their communities and beyond. If any of this resonates with you, it sure is for me, we really encourage you to donate. And, I know we've spoken a lot about CLP's traditional centers, but we've been thinking a lot about the future as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's 2024, and CLP has come a long way from all of its different programming. And one notable one is the smart classrooms. And, a lot of us sponsor them, but we really need to take a deeper look into seeing what does it really entail. There's large monitor, interactive audio-visual lessons, and cutting-edge programs. But, don't have to listen to me. Let's take a look at what they are.
Children naturally love to play, and through play, they can learn. 20 years ago, the computer literacy program, CLP, aimed to introduce computers to students in rural Bangladesh, helping them overcome their fear of new technology. Now, 2 decades later, CLP is shifting its focus to using computers to making learning enjoyable. Enter the Smart Classroom, SCR, where CLP is evolving educational experiences. SCR features a large digital monitor, a laptop, and audiovisual textbook content to enhance classroom learning. Let's take a look at an SCR in action.
প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, তোমরা সবাই কেমন আছো? আমিও ভালো আছি। তোমাদেরকে আজকে আলোর প্রতি সম্পর্কে ধারণা দিব। আজকে কি সম্পর্কে ধারণা দিব? আলোর প্রতিসরণ। চলো আমরা একটি ভিডিও দেখি। ভিডিওটা সবাই দেখতে পাচ্ছ তোমরা? আমি আজকে ম্যামের ক্লাস সম্পর্কে কিছু বলতে চাচ্ছি। ম্যাম আমাদের আজকে আলোর প্রতিসরণ সম্পর্কে বুঝিয়েছে এবং কিছু ছবি আমার একটা ভিডিও দেখিয়েছে। ভিডিওতে আমরা দেখলাম যে একটা আলোক রশ্মি একটা স্বচ্ছ মাধ্যম থেকে অন্য স্বচ্ছ মাধ্যমে গিয়ে সামান্য বেঁকে গেছে, যেটা একদম বাস্তবতা একদম প্র্যাকটিক্যালি দেখানো হয়েছে, যার ফলে আমাদের এটা খুব সহজে আয়ত্তকরণে খুব সহায়তা করেছে।
CLP has established 201 smart classrooms, SCRs, across Bangladesh, benefiting 95,000 students each year. In addition to traditional textbook learning, CLP has gradually introduced various engaging initiatives through SCR to address critical learning needs in today's world. One such initiative is Education Through Entertainment, EE, launched in 2016. This program aims to teach students important values like tolerance, global awareness, and entrepreneurship through interactive methods. In a typical EE session, students watch a video followed by a teacher-led discussion to ensure a comprehensive understanding and application of the concepts. These discussions are designed to actively involve every student. Here is a preview of one such session.
আজকে আমরা সবাই মিলে একটি ভিডিও দেখে আলোচনা করলাম আমরা কিভাবে একজন অন্যজনকে সাহায্য করতে পারি। আমরা ক্লাসরুমে, বিদ্যালয়ে, পরিবারে, এমনকি কমিউনিটিতে পরস্পরের প্রতি দয়া প্রবণতা চর্চা করতে পারি, অন্যের দুঃখ অনুভব করতে পারি এবং জীবের প্রতি দয়াশীল আচরণ করতে পারি।
এবং সেই পোস্টারগুলো আমাদের ক্লাসের মধ্যে সীমাবদ্ধ না রেখে বিভিন্ন ক্লাসে ছড়িয়ে দেবো, যেন অন্যান্য শিক্ষার্থীরা এগুলো দেখে চর্চা করতে পারে এবং তাদের ব্যক্তিগত জীবনকে সুন্দরভাবে সাজাতে পারে।
In 2017, the SCR introduced a video conferencing feature that enabled the Connect Students Around the World Seesaw program. This initiative fosters cultural communication and friendship among youth globally through live video chats and collaborative projects. For Bangladeshi students, conversing in English boosts their confidence, while American students gain valuable multicultural exposure. Experience a live Seesaw conference and hear from a participant in a rural village.
We are ready for another session. So Jill, please take it away.
Okay, good morning. We're so glad that we can have another collaboration this year. Thanks for joining in on the Book Creator books.
And one question we in New Jersey had is, what is the climate like in Bangladesh, and how does the environment relate to the water sources?
Hi, I'm Isha in grade 9. Bangladesh has a humid subtropical climate with wide seasonal rainfall variation, with warm temperature and high humidity. Water is very important for an agricultural country like Bangladesh. Rainwater collected in ponds, lakes, and rivers is the main source of fresh water in our area.
আমার নাম আসিয়া আক্তার তিশা। আমি উদ্দীপন বদর শামসু বিদ্যানিকেতন এর নবম শ্রেণীর একজন শিক্ষার্থী। এবছর আমরা দি ওয়াটার প্রিন্সেস বইটি নিয়ে কাজ করেছি। আমরা মোট 18 জন সদস্য 6টি গ্রুপে ভাগ হয়ে একসাথে কাজটি করেছি। বিশুদ্ধ পানি পাওয়ার ক্ষেত্রে যে সমস্যা তা আমরা চিহ্নিত করতে পেরেছি। সিস কার্যক্রমে অংশগ্রহণ করার ফলে আমাদের চিন্তার অনেক পরিবর্তন হয়েছে। বিদেশি বন্ধুদের সাথে কাজ করতে পেরে আমাদের আত্মবিশ্বাসও অনেক বেড়ে গেছে। আমার পরিবারে অনেক সুযোগ সুবিধার অভাব থাকার পরও আমার যোগাযোগ দক্ষতা, ইংরেজি দক্ষতা এবং কোনো কিছু বিশ্লেষণ করার দক্ষতা বৃদ্ধি পেয়েছে। উচ্চশিক্ষার প্রতি আমার অনেক আগ্রহ তৈরি হয়েছে। সর্বোপরি সিস কার্যক্রম আমাদের স্বপ্ন দেখাচ্ছে উন্নত জীবনের। ধন্যবাদ।
In 2018, the SCR launched the Remote Volunteer Teaching (RVT) program, incorporating video conferencing. This initiative features a diverse group of volunteer teachers, including non-resident Bangladeshis, local professionals, and second-generation Bangladeshi American students. These volunteers are motivated by a desire to give back to their communities, gain valuable experience, and engage with international students. Local teachers also benefit from collaborating with educators from different backgrounds. Watch an expert English teacher instruct Class 4 students via Zoom. You've just witnessed an exceptional English teacher from New York City engaging deeply with students.
Hi. Yes, hi. What's your name?
My name is Satifa.
Nice to meet you. Yes, are you a student? Question. Good. When you bring this to the front, it becomes a question. Okay? Now let's practice. So turn around and ask your friend. Tell her, I'm a student. Talk to her. Are you a student?
To extend this expert teaching across more schools and address the practical challenges of the RVT initiative, CLP launched the Expert Guided Learning EGL initiative in 2022. In EGL, expert-led classes are recorded and edited to highlight the teacher's instructions, creating valuable teaching materials. In smart classrooms, a local teacher plays the video, synchronizes the lesson, and facilitates student engagement. Watch an EGL English class in action.
Hi. What's your name? My name is Jan. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Yes, are you a student? Are you a student? Good. When you bring this to the front, it becomes a question. Okay? Now let's practice. Turn around and ask your friend. Tell her, I'm a student. Talk to her. I'm a student. Are you a student? Are you a student? I am.
Bangladesh has a significant need for English language skills to compete in the global market. The rollout of the EGL English program in many schools will support this mission. Additionally, CLP has introduced EGL Math for Class 6. The SER serves as a valuable tool for CLP to provide virtual training for local teachers by expert trainers. Preview one of these.
When we're talking about reward system, এটা ক্লাসরুমে হোক বা অনলাইনে হোক, একটা জিনিস খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট আই থিঙ্ক প্রত্যেকটা টিচারের জন্য মনে রাখা, এটাকে আমরা বলি স্যান্ডউইচ মেথড। একটা স্যান্ডউইচে কি হয়, রুটি থাকে, ব্রেড থাকে টপ লেয়ারে, অ্যান্ড দেন মাঝখানে মাছ, মাংস, ডিম, হোয়াটএভার সবজি সব থাকে, অ্যান্ড দেন নিচে আবার ব্রেড থাকে, রাইট? সো লেয়ারে লেয়ারে থাকে। যখন অ্যাজ এ টিচার আমরা যখন একটা স্টুডেন্টকে এনকারেজ করি বা ক্রিটিসাইজ করি, স্পেশালি স্যান্ডউইচ মেথডটা খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট। যদি সে ভুল করে, আমরা তাকে ফার্স্ট লেয়ার বলবো গুড জব ফর ট্রাইং, ট্রাই করার জন্য গুড। তুমি ভুল অ্যান্সার দিলেও আমি তোমাকে এনকারেজ করবো যে অ্যাট লিস্ট তুমি আমাকে অ্যান্সার দিয়েছো। দ্যাটস হোয়াট মেক্স মি হ্যাপি। ভুল হোক রাইট হোক ওটা পরের কথা, তুমি আমাকে অ্যান্সার করো বা তুমি আমাকে রেসপন্ড করো, আই এম হ্যাপি অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট অ্যান্ড ইউ ডিজার্ভ গুড জব ফর দ্যাট। সেকেন্ড অফ অল, সুন্দর করে যেখানে সেকেন্ড লেয়ার স্যান্ডউইচে থাকে মজার খাওয়াগুলা, সুন্দর করে মজা করে তাকে বুঝাবো যে সে কিভাবে একটু বেটার বলতে পারে, ইনস্টেড অফ জাস্ট সেইং তুমি রং। ফার্স্ট অফ অল, গুড জব ফর রেসপন্ডিং। সেকেন্ড অফ অল, মেবি তুমি যেভাবে বলেছো ওভাবে না বলে মেবি আমরা এভাবে করতে পারি। দ্যাটস হাউ উই টিচ দেম the right method. Nobody is ever wrong. Student হোক, টিচার হোক, no one's ever wrong. সবার different ways থাকে, right? So তাদেরকে আমরা রিডাইরেক্ট করি, তাদেরকে গাইডেন্স দিই যে কিভাবে ঠিকটাতে যাওয়া যায়। তাকে আমি বলবো না তুমি রং, এখানে চলে আসো, নো, তাকে আমি গাইড করে নিয়ে আসবো টু রাইট পাথে। And then lastে just I will conclude that okay, you did a good job, maybe এভাবে না, maybe we'll do it this way. That's it. This is just, I think, one of the most important teaching method, or in classroom or in person or online, whichever way you do it.
As you've seen, CLP has developed versatile learning programs for smart classrooms, SER, to equip underprivileged students with the skills needed to compete in the modern world. Every classroom in Bangladesh can benefit from the SER and from CLP's learning initiatives.
Wow, Nusrat, did you see those kids? They were so excited. They were having so much fun being a part of those smart classrooms. It's just amazing to think about where the kids were and where they are now. Some of them grew up in environments where a computer was a luxury, and now CLP is bringing the future right into their classroom. And they're not just learning, but they're really expanding their perspectives. Like that one student said, she was just so much more confident speaking with people from all over the world. And, that's really powerful, that when a student is seeing what they're really capable of, and it's more than what they ever imagined. So when someone can see beyond their limitations, beyond their circumstances, that's when they can really start making a difference in their own lives and in the greater world. So what CLP is doing isn't just teaching, it's really unlocking potential, and that's really life-changing. So let's work together to set up some more smart classrooms. everyone, please be generous in your donations and see that, you can sponsor a smart classroom for just $3,000 and you can have an entirely new family of CLP students.
Yeah, and speaking of smart, we have an inspiring story about some bright preschoolers and kindergartners. In 2023, CLP introduced a version of the smart classroom that doesn't even need a laptop or internet at a fraction of the cost of a traditional smart classroom. Let's take a look at how this innovation is lighting up their little world.
স্বাগত সবাইকে। আমি নীলুফা ইয়াসমিন, সহকারী শিক্ষক, উদ্দীপন বদরশামসু বিদ্যানিকেতন, বাগেরহাট। আমার বিদ্যালয়টি বাগেরহাট জেলার বৈটপুর গ্রামে একটি সুজলা সুফলা পরিবেশে প্রতিষ্ঠিত। আজ আমি যে ব্যতিক্রমধর্মী কার্যক্রমটি সম্পর্কে আপনাদের অভিহিত করতে চাই সেটি হলো আমাদের বিদ্যালয়ের প্রাক প্রাথমিকে শিশু শ্রেণীতে সিএলপি এর সহায়তায় মাল্টিমিডিয়ার মাধ্যমে পাঠদান। তো চলুন দেখে আসি।
আচ্ছা, আমাদের জাতীয় মাছের নাম কি বলতে পারো? এখানে কয়টা মাছ আছে? জিনিয়া দাঁড়াও তো, কয়টা মাছের মিল আছে বলো তো? 3টা মাছের মিল আছে। আর কয়টা অমিল আছে?
মাল্টিমিডিয়ার মাধ্যমে ক্লাস নিতে পেরে আমি খুবই আনন্দিত। বাচ্চারা খুব আনন্দ সহকারে ক্লাসটি উপভোগ করছে। ওরা একটা স্লাইড দেখার পরে আর একটা স্লাইড দেখার জন্য অধীর আগ্রহে অপেক্ষা করে থাকে। বাচ্চারা নিজেদের কাজ নিজেরা করতে শিখে গেছে। ওরা নিজেরা সৃজনশীল হয়ে উঠছে। আমি ওদের উজ্জ্বল ভবিষ্যতের আশাবাদী। পরবর্তী শ্রেণীতেও যদি এই ধরনের সুযোগ করে দেওয়া হয়, আমি মনে করি এই ধারাবাহিকতা বজায় থাকবে।
আমার বাচ্চা এই বিদ্যালয়ে শিশু শ্রেণীতে অধ্যয়ন করে। আমার বাচ্চা তো ক্লাস থেকে যে সারাক্ষণ শুধু ক্লাসের গল্পই করে। আর তাছাড়া মাল্টিমিডিয়ার মাধ্যমে মনিটরে ওদের সকল পড়া উপস্থাপনা করা হয়, যার কারণে সে খুবই উৎসাহের সাথে ক্লাসগুলো উপভোগ করে। আর এখন থেকে সে স্কুল বন্ধ দিতে চায় না, যার জন্য সে দিন দিন অনেক আত্মবিশ্বাসী, আত্মনির্ভরশীল হয়ে উঠেছে। আমার বাচ্চার এই উন্নতি দেখে আমি খুবই আনন্দিত।
Wow.
I could see that you are so moved by that.
Yeah, I was just watching. I was just seeing that mother. She was so pleased
Yeah.
and so excited about how her child was just seeing that multimedia-based learning and just talking about it all the time. Her child's in kindergarten, but the mother is already so filled with hope that her child will have like this bright future. And this is what everyone's donation makes possible. So remember, please just come to clpweb.org and place your donations, and you can do it anytime. You can do it right now before the program's over. Let's see. And now we have some incredible people in the audience, who, they're so excited. They really want to roll up their sleeves and get involved. And here's your chance. Let's see it.
Yeah, that's right. So we're calling on global youth to join CLP's global classroom as remote volunteer teachers. So, when we're younger, we're all searching for our place in this world, wondering how we can use our privilege to make a difference. And this is your opportunity to do just that.
Yeah, by becoming a part of CLP.
Welcome to the CLP Global Classroom. Here we explore, learn, and connect with students from around the world. Through our distance learning model, American students are coming together with underprivileged students in rural Bangladesh to learn English in a fun and engaging way. Hi, I'm Safwan, a student from the USA currently studying at Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. For the past couple of years, I've been teaching Bangladeshi school students and serving as a junior volunteer at CLP Global Classroom. It's amazing to share knowledge and connect with students in rural schools across Bangladesh. Learning together has truly been a fun and rewarding experience, and I still look forward to teaching more.
My name is Faria.
Hi, Faria. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine too.
Hi everyone, I'm Oyon, a junior volunteer currently in 10th grade at Rancocas Valley Regional High School. I live in Lumberton, New Jersey. I really enjoy learning alongside with my friends in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sabria, a high school student from Marlton, New Jersey. Working and connecting with these kids has been an incredible opportunity. It's wonderful to learn and grow together.
Hi, I'm Ibrahim Rashid, a 10th grade student at Eastern Regional High School in the United States. I love the activities we do in our global classroom, and it's all about having fun and learning together.
Volunteering with CLP Global Classroom can even help students earn the American Presidential Award for their dedication. Teenagers and young people can join us, have an impact, and get recognized for their contributions. We want to expand this initiative across even more classrooms in Bangladesh, but we need your help.
If you are interested in making a difference, check out our Facebook community and website to get involved.
Together, we can make learning accessible and fun for everyone. Thank you.
Wow, becoming a part of CLP, you're more than just like a volunteer. You're a guide, a mentor, a role model for all these students who are just looking to you for direction and some inspiration. And honestly, it can really shape the rest of your life.
Yeah, and there's something so transformative about working with kids. Being around them teaches you so much about yourself. And it's not just about teaching lessons, it's about helping them to see their own potential and in turn discovering what kind of person you want to be. CLP gives you the chance to do that on a global scale.
Mhm.
And we see that it's not just learning about basic subjects like math and writing that leads to future success for these students, but also soft skills that's actually required today to flourish in the office environment and working on teams.
Yeah, these kids are learning business communication, navigating office tools like pros, and they're giving presentations that would impress even the toughest bosses. They're even using AI like ChatGPT. I mean, I wish I had all of these when I was at their age. And now in Bangladesh, they're getting access to all of these tools. They're getting a real head start on conquering the professional world, and we're just trying to keep up. So let's see what they've been up to.
CLP helps village students acquire the technology skills and critical knowledge needed in today's world. While these students progress through the system and are familiar with their home, school, college, and marketplace environments, they are often unfamiliar with the workplace. They lack knowledge about how to search for jobs, navigate the interview process, and develop the soft skills required for the workplace. CLP aims to address this gap. With our established infrastructure, presence in rural areas, and access to technology, we can easily connect students with international experts. We plan to train them in corporate culture, basic communication skills, time management, customer service, and office etiquette. We have launched an initiative to take the next step beyond education and prepare them for the workplace. Our training covers how to find a job, handle interviews, and succeed in the workplace. The first session started on September 21st, 2024 in Bagarhat with 17 participants, including 6 women. The course includes job search strategies, office-related ICT skills, basic communication, and office etiquette. We are confident that this training will help them become more competitive in the job market.
তিনটা ক্লাস মিলে আমরা
যে জিনিসগুলো দেখবো সোফার সেটা হচ্ছে প্রফেশনাল ইথিক্স কি, কেন এটার গুরুত্ব কি এবং কি কি জিনিস এটার মধ্যে আছে, অফিস এটিকেট এবং এটার ইম্পর্টেন্সটা কি, প্রফেশনাল বিহেভিয়ার আমরা কি করতে পারি।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি আল্লামা ইকবাল। আমি মেরিন ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং শেষ করছি, বর্তমানে মার্চেন্ট শিপের চাকরির জন্য নিজের প্রস্তুতি করতেছি। কিন্তু এই মুহূর্তে আমাদের বাইরে অথবা চাকরির জন্য অফিসিয়াল যে স্কিল প্রয়োজন এটা আমাদের হয়তো অনেকেই জানা নেই। কিন্তু এই জন্য আমরা একটা মাধ্যম যেটা এসেনশিয়াল অফিস স্কিল, এইটার মাধ্যমে আমি নিজের প্রস্তুত করতেছি।
Wow, that was really beautiful to see. All those smiling faces and watching them learn about business etiquette and how to handle tough situations. It's something you don't always think about, but it's very important.
Yeah, totally. Up next, we have a crucial message from Maruf Mohideen, who will walk us through CLP's financials and show you exactly how every dollar is making a real difference in the Bangladeshi youth.
A very good morning or a very good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us from. My name is Maruf Mohideen, and again, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to our premiere event of celebrating our 20th year anniversary for CLP. So as part of that celebration, I'd like to take a few minutes of your time today to discuss our financial position, looking at what we've achieved, what we're currently doing, and what we look to do in the future. So at the cusp of our 20-year celebration, in this time frame, we've raised and expended over $2.7 million, which is thank you to all your generous contributions and support. And we've used that money to build technology infrastructure in Bangladesh and training the youth of Bangladesh. How have we spent that money? The $2.7 million that we've raised so far has been used to build CLC centers, which are computer literacy centers, over around 306 in over 55 districts in Bangladesh. We've also built smart classrooms, 201 smart classrooms specifically in 44 districts in Bangladesh thus far. And over that time frame of 20 plus years, we've trained 150 to 1,000 CLP Tech graduates, and on an annual basis, 95,000 students in Bangladesh benefit from our work and the sponsorship that you ultimately provide to us. So that's where we are. That's where we are thus far, looking back. Now, what we're currently looking to do for 2024 and onwards, what we're trying to do is supporting our infrastructure through organic growth, sustaining operation of the existing centers, improving existing service qualities, and supporting limited scale up. So on an annual basis, our budget is about $160,000, of which we've so far raised $127,000. So we're hoping after today's program that you'll help us get over that threshold that we need for 2024. And additionally, we're also using this program as a launch up to our 2025 projects that we have lined up and to scale up our 2025 operations. So besides the annual budgeting cost of $160,000, we're looking to add new CLC centers and also new classroom centers. And to scale up those projects, we're looking at an additional $40,000. So for 2025, we're hoping to raise at least $200,000. And we're hoping that after today's program and the presentations that we put together, that you will be encouraged and enthused to continue supporting our efforts. So how can you help? Obviously, continuing what you've done doing so far, but there are other ways to get involved with CLP. You can always support our learning center or sponsor our computer literacy center, which is only $3,000, which covers 2/3 of the cost, and CLP picks up 1/3 of the cost. Or you can sponsor a smart classroom, which is also $3,000 and which covers about 2/3 of the cost. Or if you want on a smaller scale, you could sponsor a computer for one of these CLC centers, which is only $400. How can you donate? You can always go to our website, www.clp.web.org, as you see on the streamer down there, or donate through PayPal or mail in a check. But any way you can support and sponsor our efforts would be greatly appreciated. So again, I'd like to end by thanking you for your continued support and your generous time to this great cause. And we hope that you continue your support and also encourage your friends and family to join us in this great endeavor. And I'd like to end by just giving you one quotation. So when our founder did the math, in order to train a CLP tech, the overall cost is $10 per graduate. So I just want you to end that. I just want to end on that note that it only costs $10, which is probably the cost of one lunch money for us. So we hope that today's programming will encourage you to continue helping us and be part of this great journey and for all the great things to come. Thank you again and have a great day.
Wow, thank you so much, Maruf. That was amazing. Can you believe that it's been 20 years and over 150,000 students have been graduated? And now
Incredible.
CLP has grown so much. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said incredible.
CLP's grown so much that now we're helping 95,000 students per year. Per year. And during that special message, I just got a quick update. Are you ready for this?
Yes. Should I have a drum roll?
Yes. During this live event, we have raised almost $29,000 just
Woo!
during this event. Woo! Let's see. So I believe that if everyone watching can just donate a little bit or donate 3,000 for a CLC or a smart classroom, or like Maruf said, just 400 for a computer. I bet if everyone watching this right now can just set that up, I think that we can achieve our target before the program is over.
Definitely, Marjan. I agree with you. Yeah, actually, Marjan, what's that one place that I've been begging you to take me for the last, I don't know, 4 years?
Bangladesh?
Exactly. And since we still haven't gone yet, I guess I'll just join CLP, their team on their tour of Bangladesh's hubs instead. At least someone's gonna take me.
Oh, I'll go with you. I've actually been thinking about it for a long time. Let's check it out together. Next, we have this incredible, exciting voyage through Bangladesh with the CLP team. This is something that I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. Let's see it.
সিএলপি বাংলাদেশ টিম থেকে আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আমি খুরশিদ রাজীব।
আমি মাসুক ইলাহি অনিক। বাংলাদেশে সিএলপির ৩০৬টি কম্পিউটার ল্যাব রয়েছে। এদের মধ্যে ২০০৫ সালে প্রতিষ্ঠিত কিছু ল্যাব এখনো চলমান আছে। মনিটরিং, প্রশিক্ষণ ও টেকনিক্যাল সহায়তার মাধ্যমে ল্যাবগুলো সচল রাখা হয়। সিএলপি বাংলাদেশ টিম নিয়মিত ফিজিক্যাল ভিজিট, রিমোট সাপোর্ট ও ফোন ফলোআপের মাধ্যমে এসব ল্যাবে মেইনটেনেন্স ও টেকনিক্যাল সাপোর্ট অব্যাহত রেখেছে। এই ভিডিওতে সিএলপি বাংলাদেশ টিমের কার্যক্রমের কিছু অংশ আপনাদেরকে দেখাবো।
এখন আমরা ট্রেনে চেপে পদ্মা সেতু হয়ে রওনা হয়েছি বগুড়া ও কুষ্টিয়ার দিকে। সিএলপি বাংলাদেশ টিম বছরে অন্তত একবার প্রতিটা স্কুলে গিয়ে কম্পিউটার ল্যাবগুলো ভিজিট করে। তারই অংশ হিসেবে আমাদের এই যাত্রা। আমাদের প্রথম গন্তব্য বগুড়ার শেরপুর উপজেলা। এখানে ডক্টর মোল্লা ফজলুল হকের সহযোগিতায় 8টি বিদ্যালয়ে কম্পিউটার ল্যাব ও স্মার্ট ক্লাসরুম চলমান রয়েছে। তার মধ্যে শেরুয়া উচ্চ বিদ্যালয়ে কম্পিউটার লিটারেসি সেন্টার ও স্মার্ট ক্লাসরুম রয়েছে। এখানে আমরা নিয়মিত মনিটরিং ও টেকনিক্যাল সহায়তার কাজ সম্পন্ন করলাম। এরই মধ্যে শুরু হলো ঝুম বৃষ্টি। শরতের শেষ বেলায় এই অঝোর বৃষ্টিতে করতোয়ার ধার ঘেঁষা প্রাণ প্রকৃতি যেন নেচে উঠল। আকাশ ভাঙ্গা বৃষ্টিতে এই শিশু কিশোররাও যেন মেতে উঠল। এখানেই আমাদের পরিচয় হলো সিএলপির প্রশিক্ষণার্থী সাদিয়ার সাথে। সে জানালো তার বাড়িতে বাংলাদেশের জিআই পণ্য বিখ্যাত বগুড়ার দই বানানো হয়। আচ্ছা, আমরা যদি দই বানানো দেখতে চাই তাহলে কিভাবে দেখবো?
স্যার তাহলে আমাদের সাথে চলেন।
তোমাদের বাসায় গেলে আমরা দই বানানো দেখতে পারবো?
হ্যাঁ।
আমরা তাহলে এখন সাদিয়ার বাড়িতে যাব, দই বানানো দেখব এবং দই খেয়েও দেখব। সেখানে গিয়ে দেখি ঘরোয়াভাবে দই তৈরির আয়োজন চলছে। এই এলাকায় বাড়তি আয়ের উৎস হিসেবে অনেকেই বাড়িতে দই বানান। পার্শ্ববর্তী পালপাড়ার কোমর বাড়িতে তৈরি হয় দই রাখার সরা, মটকা আর থালাবাটি। দইয়ের পাত্র রাখার জন্য বাঁশের কাঠিও তৈরি হয় এই গ্রামে। সাদিয়ার পরিবার আমাদের দই বানিয়ে দেখালো, পাশাপাশি সিএলপির ইউএসএ টিমকেও আমন্ত্রণ জানালো তাদের বাড়িতে।
সিএলপিকে বগুড়াতে স্বাগত। আমাদের এখানে আসলে আমাদের বাসায় নিশ্চয়ই আসবেন, আমরা দই বানিয়ে খিলাবো।
আমাদের যেটুকু সম্ভব আমরা সেটুকু আপনাদের আপ্যায়ন করব।
এবার আমাদের গন্তব্য কুষ্টিয়া। যেতে যেতে চোখে পড়ল পারমাণবিক বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র আর পদ্মা নদীর উপর শতবর্ষ পুরনো হার্ডিঞ্জ ব্রিজ। কুষ্টিয়াতে ইমদাদ খান সিতারা খান ফাউন্ডেশনের স্পন্সরশিপে 6টি স্কুল সহ গোটা দেশের মোট 15টি স্কুলে কম্পিউটার ল্যাব স্থাপন করা হয়েছে। সিএলপির প্রতিষ্ঠা লগ্ন থেকে এই 20 বছরের অগ্রযাত্রায় সহযোগিতা করে আসছে ইমদাদ খান সিতারা খান ফাউন্ডেশন। এছাড়াও কুষ্টিয়াতে নাবিক 2টি ও জনাব একে আজাদ একটি ল্যাব স্পন্সর করেছেন। এগুলোর মধ্যে একটি কমলাপুর হাই স্কুল। এই স্কুলে সিএলপির কম্পিউটার ল্যাবে গিয়ে দেখি শিক্ষার্থীরা অনেক কিছুই শিখেছে। এমএস ওয়ার্ডে লেখালেখি, এক্সেলের হিসাবপাতি আর পেইন্টে আঁকাআঁকি ভালোই পারে। এখানে আমাদের কিছু ল্যাপটপে অপারেটিং সিস্টেমে খানিকটা সমস্যা দেখা দিয়েছিল। আমাদের আইটি অফিসার মাসুক ইলাহি সেগুলো সারিয়ে তুললেন।
কমলাপুর হাই স্কুল থেকে এখন আমরা চলে আসলাম ছেউরিয়ায় লালন সাইজির দরবারে। আর কুষ্টিয়াতে যখন এসেছি কুলফি খাবো না সেটা হইতে পারে, তো এখন কলাপাতায় আমরা কুলফি খাচ্ছি। আর পিছনে সাইজির দরবার, আমরা একটু পরেই সাইজির দরবারেই যাব।
মাজারের ঠিক পাশেই অডিটোরিয়ামে একদল সাধুকে পাওয়া গেল। অনুরোধ করতেই তারা গান গেয়ে শোনালেন।
মিলন হবে কত দিনে, আমার মনের মিলন হবে কত দিনে,
আমার মনের মানুষের সনে, আমার মনের মানুষের সনে। আমার মনের মানুষের সনে, আমার মনের মানুষের সনে।
মেঘের বিদ্যুৎ মেঘে যাব, ওখানে না পাই অন্বেষণ, কালারে হারায়ে যাব, কালারে হারায়ে যাব। ওইরূপ জীবন করে, ওইরূপ জীবন করে,
আমার মনের মানুষের সনে, আমার মনের মানুষের সনে।
ওইরূপ যখন সাধু আগে নলুক লাগা লালন ফকির প্রেমে বলে লালন ফকির প্রেমে বলে সেই জানে, সেই জানে,
আমার মনের মানুষের সনে, আমার মনের মানুষের সনে।
মিলন হবে মনোদিনে, মনের মানুষের সনে আমার মনের মানুষের
এবার আমাদের গন্তব্য চট্টগ্রামে। জঙ্গল, পাহাড়, নদী আর সাগরে ঘেরা এই এলাকার মানুষের আতিথেয়তার জুড়ি মেলা ভার। চট্টগ্রামের প্রত্যন্ত স্কুলগুলোতেও সিএলপির উদ্যোগ পৌঁছে গেছে। এই স্কুলগুলোর মধ্যে একটি হলো বাঁশখালী উপজেলার বাণীগ্রাম সাধনপুর স্কুল। এই স্কুলে ফিল্ড ভিজিটে আসার পর এখানকার শিক্ষার্থীরা আমাদের নিয়ে চলল চা বাগানে। তারা সিএলপি পরিবারকে একটা গান শোনাতে চায়।
নাম ঠিকানা জানা নাই, তোমার খবর কেমনে পাই? নাম ঠিকানা জানা নাই, তোমার খবর কেমনে পাই? তোমার লায়ার ফরান ফুইরা যারাতুন, তোমার লায়ার ফরান ফুইরা যা। সুন্দর সিনসিনারি তুয়ারে দেহায়ো, সিটা গঙ্গাইলে তোরে পতেঙ্গা লয়ে যায়ো। সুন্দর সুন্দর সিনসিনারি তুয়ারে দেহায়ো, আরে কক্সবাজার লই যায় তোরে গোসল গজম দই চাত যায়। তুয়ার লায়ার ফরান ফুইরা যারাতুন, তুয়ার লায়ার ফরান ফুইরা যার।
Wow. It is just so beautiful to see how CLP has spread all across Bangladesh, leaving its mark on both the land and its people, and just being so involved with all of the different communities. It's amazing to see the different donors from the different places to create these incredible centers throughout the country. It's a reminder that simply donating money can revolutionize an entire nation and its people, while also celebrating the rich cultural heritage of Bangladesh.
Yeah, and I actually saw a comment come up that said that CLP makes them feel safe. So as Marjan and I personally know many of the people who work at CLP and actually are the ones building the centers and hiring these teachers and making the curriculum and the content design, and they are so sincere and transparent and honest. So if there's any organization that you can donate your money to and know and have that peace of mind that it's going to the right cause, that it's not being manipulated or used for anything other than what they're telling you it is being used for, CLP is the right place to go. So, before we close this evening, we have a very special presentation. Dr. Shakil Ahmed. He has both a PhD in computer science from Yale and tons of experience as a hedge fund manager on Wall Street. And he is here with us today to share why now is the time to support CLP.
If there's anyone who can convey the gravity of this moment, it is Dr. Shakil Ahmed. That we see that. Let's just let him explain that, why it's such an important opportunity right now to make this lasting impact at CLP.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello. I'm here today to talk to you about why we are at a critical juncture in history. These are extraordinary times for Bangladesh, and I don't just mean in the context of all the political changes that we've been witnessing. What I hope to impress upon you today is that the time is now, and what we can do today together with CLP can change Bangladesh, can transform the future of this country, and dramatically alter the lives and the livelihoods of many millions of people. Now, in order for me to explain that to you, I need to go over some basic economics as it relates to Bangladesh. According to a Boston consulting group study, the middle income and affluent consumer class in Bangladesh is expanding rapidly, predicted to hit 17% of the country's population in 2025. Now, that may not sound like a whole lot, 17%. But 17% in Bangladesh is a staggering 31 million people. And that's more than the combined population of Austria, Switzerland, and Hungary combined. Hard to imagine back in 1971 when Bangladesh was dismissed as an international basket case by many. And that's not even the whole story. According to WealthX, which is a group that studies high net worth individuals, so people who have net assets of more than $5 million. According to WealthX, Bangladesh was the global leader in wealth growth from 2010 to 2019. So in those 10 years, the number of high net worth people in Bangladesh grew at a faster rate than anywhere else in the world. And that is phenomenal. So well done, Bangladesh. A good pat on the back, right? Well, yes. But I would argue that that's not the whole story. Because you see, in Bangladesh, the wealthiest 10% of the population holds some 41% of the nation's wealth. Whereas the bottom 10% holds around 1% of the nation's wealth. Now, that's not completely unusual. These are standard growing pains in any fast developing economy. But how can we accelerate the trickle-down effect? Now, at this point, the socialists amongst you will get upset and say, oh, there's no such thing as a trickle-down effect. But in the case of Bangladesh, that is objectively false. Because you see, if you look at the garments industry alone, the garments industry, notwithstanding the fact that the owners of the garments industries have all become fabulously wealthy, no question. But the garments industry employs some 4 million people, most of them women. And you cannot argue that that hasn't had a demographic effect, a social effect, an economic effect on the lives of many millions of people. So clearly there is a trickle-down effect. The question isn't if it exists. The question is, how do we get the majority of the population involved in a more substantial way in this growing economy? How do we accelerate this trickle-down effect? So let me show you what the GDP per capita growth in Bangladesh looks like. Because if you look at this slide and you compare Bangladesh to India, Pakistan, and Cambodia, it looks like we're doing very, very well. In fact, not only have we long left Pakistan in the dust, but we now have a higher GDP per capita even than India. Now, if you were to adjust to a PPP, a purchasing power parity basis, India might be slightly ahead of Bangladesh, but nonetheless, this growth has been phenomenal. And it tells a very, very good story, and we love to pat each other on the back looking at this. But there are some issues with this, and I'll come to that in a second. But let me show you another slide. Because on this slide, I'm going to add Vietnam and Sri Lanka. And you see, when you look at it in this context, it is nowhere near where Bangladesh is. Because Vietnam and Sri Lanka are way ahead of where Bangladesh is. And if you look at Vietnam in particular, in the 90s, its GDP per capita was well below that of Bangladesh. But look where it is now. So I would argue that instead of comparing ourselves to India and Pakistan and patting ourselves in the back, maybe lightly patting ourselves in the back, we should be looking at what is Vietnam doing that we're not? Why are they so far ahead of where we are when they used to be far behind? Now let's go back to analyzing the story behind this GDP growth in Bangladesh. Because clearly there has been growth, but I would argue that this graph is a bit misleading. Because a lot of the GDP growth in Bangladesh, certainly a decent chunk of it, has come from the real estate industry. And I would argue that the real estate industry, while absolutely being a contributor to the GDP is not a very meaningful contributor. Because the real estate industry in Bangladesh is almost like a Ponzi scheme. It's the same people that keep investing over and over again into the real estate industry. It's not contributing to significant GDP growth that's benefiting the population at large. But if you look at the main GDP drivers that have really changed the country, there's really only two of them. Both of them are export-oriented. The first one that we all know about, of course, is the garments industry. The garments industry in the 2021-2022 fiscal year brought in some almost 43 billion US dollars, 11% of the GDP. And there's a lot of positives about it, such as, women's empowerment and all the things that we already discussed in terms of the social impact that it's having. But that garments industry carries with it some huge risks. First, industry as a whole is becoming more and more automated. And with the advent of artificial intelligence and improvements of robotics, more of the garments industry processes are becoming automated. And if that is the case, and the garments industries become completely automated, then where would I put my factories? Would I put them in Bangladesh? I would not put them in Bangladesh. I would put them in the locations that have the best infrastructure, the best power infrastructure, the best distribution networks, and the best support in terms of the logistics and infrastructure from all the services around it. And that is not Bangladesh. So that's a huge risk to Bangladesh. The second risk to that industry is that Bangladesh historically has enjoyed what we call LDC status, LDC being least developed country. Because if you are an LDC, then you have the advantage of enjoying tariff-free access to many Western markets. Now, ironically, as the economy in Bangladesh has improved and we've pushed towards leaving LDC status and becoming a developing economy, the problem is that we lose those tariff-free accesses. And when that happens, the cost advantage that we have enjoyed historically goes away. And again, at that point, the buyers will go to other suppliers outside of Bangladesh. So the garments industry, as you can see, is hanging on a thread. Pun intended, by the way. The second biggest contributor to the economy has been the overseas workers' remittances. The overseas workers that we have in many of the countries, such as the countries in the Middle East and Malaysia, they send home a lot of foreign exchange each year. And in the last fiscal year for which we have statistics, those remittances were some 22 billion US dollars. That's almost 7% of the GDP in that year. Now the problem with that industry is that it depends on employment in oil-rich countries, particularly in the Middle East. And so therefore Bangladesh indirectly has a lot of exposure to oil. And so that again is a singular point of failure. So if you look at these two industries that have fueled a large part of the growth, we're kind of in risky territory because both of these can go away very, very quickly. Clearly then, we need to diversify into other industries, especially high-value industries, like services, technology, software, those types of industries. But those are precisely the industries in which we have historically struggled to compete with other countries like India, Sri Lanka, other neighboring South Asian countries. Many of these industries require significant investment, but historically we have struggled to attract outside investment. You see, if you look at really successful economies that have grown extremely rapidly, like China, they did so largely driven by FDI, foreign direct investment. And if you look at China, what they did is they supercharged their growth through FDI, because FDI brings in US dollars. And with the US dollars, you can import machinery, you can import expertise that develops the manufacturing industries that you need to develop. Now, historically, if you look at why China succeeded, at the time when they brought in the FDI and started growing, most of that FDI went to China as opposed to other countries like India because China had a higher level of basic education in its workforce, and it had much better infrastructure. And it had better infrastructure because China decided early on to invest heavily in their infrastructure. In fact, they encouraged the banks to offer favorable credit terms to anybody who was willing to work on infrastructure. And once China brought in the FDI, they were able to supercharge their growth process, develop all their industries. In fact, China itself has become such a mature economy now that their labor cost has gone up, and they in turn have now started exporting a lot of their manufacturing to other markets. Bangladesh should have been at the receiving end of that China relocation trade. But we got a tiny sliver of it. We got almost none of it. Most of it went to countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and even Cambodia to some extent. And that's not even the only issue. If you look at industries like the tech industry, which is often driven by startups, the unicorns in the US, for example, are very, very famous for having grown exponentially. And if you look at what fuels the startups, it's generally venture capital. Venture capital invests early on to grow these startups, which then become successful companies. And if you look at venture capital that is attracted from the outside, so foreign venture capital that comes into countries, that's a very, very good metric for how the startup industry is developing within a country. And if you start looking at those numbers over the last 5 years, then in Indonesia, that number comes in at $34 a head per capita. We have to look at it per capita because if you look in absolute terms, obviously the Indian economy is much larger than the Bangladesh one, so you can't do a direct comparison. But we can do a comparison on a per capita basis. So in Indonesia, that number comes in at $34 a head. In India, over those 5 years, that number comes in at $30 a head. In Pakistan, that number is $1.60 for the last 5 years. And if you look at it in Bangladesh, over the last 5 years, depending on how you measure it, that number comes in at somewhere between 50 cents a head and $1 a head. So much, much lower than any of these other countries. And the question is why? Why is Bangladesh failing to attract this capital to develop its industries? Well, the reasons are complicated. There are multiple issues. Some of them are connected to each other. And the reason we're losing to places like Vietnam is a little bit different from why we lose to places like India and Pakistan. But let's start going through the reasons. When I first bring up these numbers, anybody I tell will immediately respond with, oh yeah, that's because of the corruption. Is it? Is it the corruption that is chasing away all the foreign investment into Bangladesh? Well, it's certainly not helping. And there are well-documented cases of foreign capital being chased away because of corruption, so that is absolutely a factor. But you see, if you look at Pakistan, it's bringing in 3 times as much VC per capita than Bangladesh, and you cannot argue to me that Pakistan is less corrupt than Bangladesh. So clearly there's something else going on here. So what else is going on? Well, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. First and foremost, there's a lot of red tape around the foreign investment process in Bangladesh. There are issues with how you bring in the foreign capital, there are issues with lockup period, there are complexities with how you withdraw the money if you invest as a foreign investor. These issues are chasing away a lot of foreign investors. And the ease of doing business in Bangladesh is quite poor compared to other countries. This is something that the government absolutely needs to look at and fix. Furthermore, what a lot of outside investors will tell you is that they're worried about downstream liquidity. And what they mean by that is that when they invest in a country like Bangladesh, they want to have an exit plan. So if the company does well, how do they get out? How do they sell their stake? How do they pull the money out? In Bangladesh, because we don't have mature capital markets, they can't just go and IPO it and sell it in the public markets because the public markets really aren't set up in a very mature fashion. We have a lot of irregularities in the public markets in Bangladesh that scare away a lot of foreign investors. So that absolutely needs to be addressed. And that is also for the government to address and should be high on their priority list. But there are two more fundamental issues that have historically affected our ability to attract foreign capital into Bangladesh. And these issues are, first, our brand and our marketing. And the second is that our labor force lacks basic things like proficiency in English, basic skills in technology, and communication skills. What do I mean by our brand and marketing? Bangladesh does not have a positive image in much of the world. People don't think of Bangladesh as a probable investment destination because we just haven't advertised ourselves properly. And that issue is linked to the second issue. It may not be apparent that the lack of skills in the labor force is related to the brand and marketing, but they are. And allow me to explain how. You see, the labor force in Bangladesh lacks proficiency in English, even at the educated level. And this is because early on in the country's history, the decision was made to de-emphasize English from the educational curriculum. Now, I understand the patriotic reasons why this was done. I totally get it. My father was a Bhasha Shoinik. I get it. But West Bengalis are no less proud of their language than we are. And they've managed to maintain their proficiency in English while preserving their cultural heritage. We should have too. Because you see, that decision to de-emphasize English has come at an enormous cost that I can't even begin to stress enough. We've had generations of university graduates who cannot speak English fluently. And worse than that, we emphasize all the wrong things in our educational curriculum. It's all about rote memorization. What do we tell our kids? We tell them from the moment they're born to keep their heads down, to focus hard on their studies, to stay out of trouble, to not ask any questions, and for God's sake, don't even think about talking. Now, I may be exaggerating a little bit, but the gist of it is true. We don't emphasize the right things. We emphasize book smarts. We emphasize being a really good student, which I don't mean to diminish the importance of that. But it is not the only thing that matters. Because you see, if you look around the world, who is running the world? Who are the leaders of countries, of the largest corporations? It's not the smartest kids in terms of book smarts. No. It's the people who know how to communicate. And we are not teaching our kids how to communicate because we are so obsessed with the book smarts and staying out of trouble and not asking questions. And so we are producing the wrong kinds of graduates. We're producing people who will make good soldiers in companies, who when told what to do will get it done. But we are not producing decision makers, entrepreneurs, people who are going to change the world. And so we are producing graduates who lack the language and the skills to communicate. And so when we send government delegations abroad to try and attract investors, we're sending the wrong message to the wrong people. I've been invited to many of these presentations from the delegations for whatever reason. I'm going to give you one example of when the BSEC came to the US on an investment roadshow, which in and of itself makes no sense because BSEC is a regulatory agency. It should never have been on a roadshow. Nonetheless, they went on a roadshow and they sent out flyers to prospective investors that they wanted to invite to these presentations. And the BSEC was visiting 4 different cities in the US. New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and I think San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. And on that flyer, of the 4 cities, 3 of them were misspelled. What message does that send to prospective investors when we can't even spell the name of their cities correctly? And then the presentations themselves were abysmal, poorly made, poorly presented, and awful language. And in contrast, when you look at the delegations that India and Pakistan is sending, they're sending people who speak like Shashi Tharoor, fluent English, polished, mature. It's night and day compared to what we're sending. And so you see the issue of language is critically important. And we have not focused on that at all in our educational curriculum. And we haven't taught the right skills to our kids. And that manifests itself in many, many different ways. Not only is our labor force not competitive, but we can't even project the right brand for Bangladesh on a global basis. And historically, there's been another problem. Because you see, if you look at capitalism, what is the promise of capitalism? The promise of capitalism is to bring capital to the best ideas and talent anywhere in the world. Does it work? Well, in the Western countries, by and large, yes. But you see, in developing countries like Bangladesh, it doesn't work so well because access to resources is not equal. Historically, education and resources have been limited to the privileged in Bangladesh. And the more privileged you are, the better your education and the better your access to resources. But the best innovations, the biggest growth drivers usually come from those with the biggest hunger. And those with the biggest hunger are not the people generally in the privileged classes. It's from the middle class and from the working class, from people who really want to improve their own trajectories. And when you go to Bangladesh and you see how hard people work and how eager they are to advance themselves, to seek knowledge, to make a difference, you have to marvel at the level of enterprise. And you have to wonder, what if these people had access to the same educational resources to which the privileged have access? They could change the world. And so it seems now at this point, when you look at it and you look at the status quo, it may seem like doom and gloom. But I have some good news. And here is the good news. What this slide shows you is the number of mobile subscribers per 100 people in all these countries. And I don't want to get bogged down here by who is higher than who, because what really matters is that the mobile subscription rate has been growing exponentially in all these markets. And in Bangladesh, for every 100 people, there are more than 100 mobile subscribers. And you may be scratching your head thinking, oh, how is it possible? Well, it's easily possible because in Bangladesh, having mobile phones is a status symbol. And anybody who's anybody has more than one phone, right? They all walk around with multiple phones like it's something very, very important to have. But the important thing here is that everyone has access to smartphones now, and therefore access to the internet and almost infinite resources as a result. And I can't begin to stress enough how monumental that is in changing the landscape. Because you see, what that means is that countries like Bangladesh have now leapfrogged over most of the traditional stages of development that all of the developed markets have had to go through. We don't have to wait for the entire country to be wired in order for people to be connected and have access to resources. Just like that, the entire country is now connected. And even the people in the most remote corners of Bangladesh have access now to this resource, have access to the internet. And you may think I'm exaggerating in how much of an impact this has had. My late mother, may God bless her soul, my late mother bought herself a smartphone. And she bought herself a smartphone because she wanted to be able to communicate with her kids who were abroad. She wanted to be able to access Facebook and connect socially with all her relatives and friends. And she wanted to be able to access YouTube and watch her favorite dramas and all these things while she's on the go. And although my mother was fluent in English, she just couldn't figure out how to use the device and access the things she wanted to access. And all her kids were abroad, so we couldn't show her. So guess who showed her? The person who was able to teach my mom how to use her mobile phone was her household help. And this lady could not read or write in Bangla, let alone in English. Yet she knew how to operate the phone, how to access each app, how to call various people with the various apps that my mom had, how to set up Facebook, how to access the dramas on YouTube. She taught my mom all of this, and she didn't know how to read or write. Now imagine if she knew how to read and write and spoke English. Imagine what she could have achieved. In Bangladesh now, as you travel around, you will notice there are beggars on many of the key intersections. Those beggars all have mobile phones hidden underneath their clothes. And they have mobile phones because they're all part of a big mafia network that analyzes traffic patterns, that figures out which is the best place to place these beggars at what times to maximize their income. They were using data analysis long before it became in vogue for hedge funds to do so. That is the power of mobile technology. And if you talk to young people in Bangladesh now, they understand a reasonable amount of English. They know all the latest jargon and idioms, and they're familiar with all the latest trends and technologies. This is monumental. Because they know all this not because of the education system, but in spite of the education system. Where education before was expensive and impossible for the common person to access, everyone now has it at their fingertips. An entire generation now understands things that the previous generations did not. And so if we can enable the masses to access this, we can supercharge the educational process. We can sidestep it entirely and create a competitive labor force. Because if you talk to these kids now, and you ask them, what do you want to do in life? Where in the past, the mission was to land a stable government job and retire in that same job. Or to end up at a large corporation and end up in a job for life. These kids now, they want to be entrepreneurs. They want to create startups. They want to build technology. So if we could enable the masses to access these same resources, think about the potential. Because then we could not only bypass India and Pakistan and leave them in the dust, but we can overtake Vietnam and Sri Lanka. So how do we get there? What are we lacking? Well, because of the network now, they already have access to the internet. What they're lacking is the skills to understand how to access the resources they need. What they're lacking is the basic language skills, English specifically, to access all the resources on the internet, because the lingua franca of the internet has become English. And so English is the most common language for all these resources on the internet. So if they were armed with those skills and the English knowledge, then they could teach themselves. They could teach themselves things that before they could never hope to access ever. And now, if you arm them with that knowledge, and you teach them how to think critically, you teach them presentation skills, like how do you build a pitch book, how do you make a presentation to an investor, if you teach them basic communication skills, well then, we will have created a formidable workforce. A workforce that can take on any workforce anywhere in the world. So I hope what you will take away from this presentation, from this speech, is not that, hey, that was kind of interesting, and then forget about it. No, what I hope you take away is the realization that you're part of something that is truly transformational at this point. We are at an inflection point like none other. CLP has already laid out the basic framework. It has already laid out a basic network, the basic resources to build exactly what I've just described. All that's missing is funding to supercharge the process and reach every corner of the country and every individual of the country so that we really, truly can become the formidable economic force that Bangladesh has become. And what I hope you take away from this is that you are part of it. How much you are part of it is all a question of how much you put into it. So I humbly request you to join me in funding this initiative that I truly think will dramatically change Bangladesh forever. Thank you very much.
Wow, Dr. Shakil, your passion for giving back to the youth of Bangladesh and ensuring they have the tools to succeed is infectious. We are so fortunate to have you here with us tonight. You know, when we support CLP, we're building something that endures. And that to me is one of the most beautiful and powerful things about this work. It's sustainable, it's layered, and it's deeply impactful.
CLP is truly a life-changing initiative that we need to support with our totality. Our money, our time, our hands, and especially our heart. You know, what a night, Nusrat. What an impactful night. And what a future we're building together. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, for reinvigorating us with this drive to improve CLP and transform the next generation of the Bangladeshi youth through empowering them with communication, rhetoric, and eloquence. Well, we're coming to a close soon, and we'd love to hear some closing remarks from our dear Abdul Hai.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. We are truly grateful for your presence today and for your generous support of the CLP cause. Thanks to you, the impact of your donation is visible in the lives you have touched. Tonight, through the stories we have shared, you have witnessed firsthand how CLP's empowerment efforts are changing lives. These stories are living proof of your contribution in action. Your support is making a profound difference, reaching people you may never met. On behalf of the many beneficiaries of your generosity, I want to extend their thankful gratitude to you. As you have seen, CLP is working to build strong educational foundation for students, focusing on essential skills such as computer training, English, math, and global communication. We are able to accomplish this through a range of innovative programs, all made possible by a dedicated team of volunteers. Some of our volunteers are familiar faces, while others work quietly behind the scenes. Every single of them plays a crucial role, and they all deserve our deepest recognition and gratitude for their tireless effort. As always, there's much more work to be done, and we could use additional help. If you are interested in getting involved, whether through volunteering or continuous donations, we would love you to join us in bringing CLP's impact to your local communities in Bangladesh. Your contributions are critical to our survival and growth. On behalf of the CLP team, I want to sincerely thank all of our sponsors and donors. Tonight, I would like to give special recognition to 4 key donors. Late Dr. Imdad Khan of the Imdad Sitara Family Foundation, whose significant donation in 2004 helped launch CLP. His wife, Mrs. Sitara Khan, has continued their family support ever since. Iftekhar Hussain and Shakil Ahmed, who have generously donated every year since 2004. NABIC, the North America Bangladesh Islamic Community, has been a major donor since 2011. Together, these 4 donors contribute more than 50% of CLP's efforts, and we cannot thank them enough. As we celebrate CLP's 20th anniversary, we know this is just the beginning. We're excited to continue growing and expanding our mission, and we humbly ask for your ongoing support to help us carry this work forward. Whether you choose to donate or volunteer, your involvement will make a lasting impact. Thank you again for generosity and good afternoon. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. We are truly grateful for your presence today and for your generous support for the CLP cause.
Thank you, hi, Uncle. Whenever I see hi, Uncle, I go, hi, Uncle. But thank you, Abdul Hai, for your words of inspiration and your shout out to our major donors and your encouragement. And thank you all so much for joining us on this journey tonight and for believing in the power of education to change lives. CLP has already empowered close to 150,000 students. And like we said in the beginning of this show, we're just getting started.
Yeah, the 150,000 graduates, and I think they mentioned that we're reaching almost 100,000 people per year now. And if you haven't already, there's still time to contribute tonight and help us continue the mission. For this amazing 20th anniversary of CLP, I was just thinking that, all of the different comments coming in from all over the world, there's so many people who are involved as students, as teachers, as distance learning, as donors. Just so many people were just so excited to be a part of this program and to be a part of the CLP family. And, I remember when I first started in high school, it was just, all I wanted to do was to just connect to everyone. And I think Dr. Ahmed said it best, right? That we just need to communicate. And that is how we can all get closer together. So, we're going to leave you off with some music from Lalon Shah Mazar. And, this is also the 134th anniversary of Lalon Fakir, which makes it all the more exciting. So please remember to donate at clpweb.org and to keep all of us in your prayers.
বেঁধেছে এমন এক ঘর, বেঁধেছে এমন এক ঘর শূন্যের উপর, আমরি শূন্যের উপর তোমরা করে ধন্য বলে যাবে, ধন্য বলে যাবে। পাগলা বেটা বসে একা একে ধরে ধন্য ধন্য বলে দাবি ধন্য ধন্য বলে দাবি নিচে উপরে সারি সারি সারে কলিজা ফুলে ভরি ধন্য ধন্য ও বলিদানি ধন্য ধন্য বলিদানি এসেছে এমন এক ঘর এসেছে এমন এক সন্ন্যের উপর আমরি সন্ন্যের উপর দাপুরি ধন্য ধন্য বলিদানে ধন্য ধন্য বলিদানে ধন্য ধন্য
নরে সরে হাতের কাছে খুঁজলে জন আমরি খুঁজলে জনম ঘোর মেলে না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না নরে চরে হাতের কাছে নরে চরে হাতের কাছে খুঁজলে জনম আমরি খুঁজলে জনম ঘোর মেলে না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না খুঁজি যারে আসমানি জমি আমার চিনি নে আমি খুঁজি যারে আসমানি জমি আমার চিনি নে আমি এ ভীষণ বলের ভূমি এ ভীষণ বলের ভূমি আমি কোনজন সে কোনজন না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না রাম রহিম বলছে জিজা খিতি জলকি বয় হুতাশন রাম রহিম বলছে জিজা খিতি জলকি বয় হুতাশন শোধালে তার অন্বেষণ শোধালে তার অন্বেষণ মূর্খ বলে কেউ বলে না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না হাতের কাছে হয় না খবর কি দেখতে যাও দিল্লি লাহোর হাতের কাছে হয় না খবর কি দেখতে যাও দিল্লি লাহোর শিরাশাই গয় লালনের তোর শিরাশাই গয় লালনের তোর সদাই মনের ঘোর গেল না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না নরে চরে হাতের কাছে নরে চরে হাতের কাছে খুঁজলে জনম আমারে খুঁজলে জনম ঘোর মেলে না কে কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না কথা কয় রে দেখা দেয় না
Wow, thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Honestly, I loved all of the songs from the whole night. Nusrat, I really think that this 20th year anniversary for CLP this event has been the greatest one out of all of them. And, I have some great news to tell you. Actually, let me just tell you in person. Hey, Nusrat, guess what?
What?
We raised over $34,000 tonight.
Amazing. Woo, alhamdulillah. Please keep it coming.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.